Hi, this is Survival from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you how to create these roses, as you can see here. These tiny little roses using a McGill punch, and this is the flower punch. It's a 6-petal punch, but you can do the same technique with a 5-petal punch as well. Now, I just want to give you a little tip before I start. Usually a lot of times, like this is the paper left over from a project. So a lot of times you have a lot of scrap left over from a project. Now this paper was actually left over from this project that I created using some pizza boxes, some of my scraps. I also used some old 12 by 12 paper that I had lying around, and I created this fan. Well, there was a lot of paper left over from this fan, so what I've been doing is I've been cutting them and using them to create flowers. So these are a bunch of flowers that came out from the scraps. So I just want to show you how to do that. A lot of times that's my technique. I take the scraps, especially when I'm using neutral color papers and pattern that will go with almost any layout. I create flowers like this one, and I have a tutorial how to create this flower. This is jute that I used some jute for a project, and then I decided to create some flowers. And see, I have a bunch left over that I can use later on for layouts. Same as this is some scrap piece of paper, so I created some flowers. And this is another set of flowers that I created using scraps. And there's a tutorial how to create all of these flowers on my YouTube channel. So, and that's something I like to do because just like when you go to a scrapbooking store, you buy these embellishments and you store them and then you use them later on for layouts. Well, you can do the same thing with your own scraps. You can create a bunch of these flowers and things like that and embellishments, and you store them for later on whenever you need that something for your layout, just to give it that extra embellishment or to make it look better. You can just go to your stash and pull one of these and then use them. And also they make great gifts. So that's why I like to have them in a little envelope, because sometimes if I have somebody come over and they're using some of my supplies, I send them home with a little pack of flowers and stuff like that they can use later on for their projects. And it's, it doesn't cost anything. It's just scraps that, I might have thrown it away. So let me show you how to create this flower using a punch. So you're going to need 5 to 4 flowers. This one, let me create one with 4 flowers. So I have 4 flowers here. Or actually, let me do 5. So I have 5 flowers here. And then what you want to do is you want to cut it. Okay? So you take your flower, and usually I take 2 at a time while I'm doing this. And I just cut off. Just slit it in between the petals, just to make the flower looser, as you can see there. Okay, there's some flowers that has a big gap between one petal to the other. Those you don't have to cut, but for this one, you do have to cut in order to make this type of flower. Okay, so now I have my 5 petals, and then I'm going to take some inking, and I love using double-sided paper because I can choose to use this side or the back side, whichever I like. And I think I'm going to use the purple side up. And I might create some with the more pattern side up also. And I'll show you one of each. So just ink the edges. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is for this one, this is going to be my bud. So since this is going to be my bud, I'm going to put the pattern side that I want to show, I'm going to put that underneath on the bottom. And then I'm going to just bend the petals in like you see there. For these, because this is the pattern I want to show, or this is the color that I want to show, so I'm going to go ahead and pinch it on the edge like you see there. So pinch the edge. And you're just going to pinch the edges like that. And you're going to do that to all your petals. You're just going to pinch the edges. Just pinch the edges real quick. And then this is the last one. Okay, so now that we have all of our 5 petals shaped, and you can also take a mouse or a pad or anything like that that you have. And let me look for my embossing. And you can just take these and just cuff a little bit in the center. You see here? And just need to just push it in the center and it will naturally cuff up. Okay, so now I'm ready to create my bud. So I'm just going to pinch it all together. And that's my bud, as you can see here. And then I'm going to take a pair of tweezers and I'm just going to fold some of the petals back to simulate like the bud is opening up, like my flower is opening up. And now I'm ready to use some adhesive. So I'm going to use some of my hot glue and put a little bit in the center. And close my bud. Okay. So there's my bud. Now I'm going to take my flower and I'm going to take the next flower with the color that I want to show. You want to have that facing upward. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive in the center of my bud and I'm going to place this right on the center of my flower. And then I'm just going to bring the petals upward like you see here. Sometimes you might want to give it a little time to kind of adhere before you start moving the flower. Because sometimes the glue is not completely dry yet or hasn't gotten hardened yet, so you have to hold it just a little bit until the glue kind of hardens a little bit. And so notice that I'm pushing my petals up towards the bud and then holding it in place. Let it dry for just a little bit. And if you're wondering why I have paint on my hand, I'm redoing my craft room, so I'm making some bookcases. So that's why I have a lot of paint on my hand. Okay, so there's my bud. The next one, I'm just going to put some adhesive on the bottom. Put it in the center, making sure that I offset the flower just a tiny bit, and then push it up and let it set for a little bit before I start manipulating the flower. Okay. And then this is my next petal. Put a little bit of adhesive in the middle. making sure that I offset the flower. And just place it there. And then my last flower. So you can leave it like this and you have a small little bud with only 4 flowers. Or you can add 1 additional flower. And use all 5 flowers to create your rose. So there you have it. There's one. So now let's go ahead and create another one. Using, this time I'm going to use only 4 flowers, and I'm going to have the pattern paper is the one that I want to show. So I'm just going to make slits in between each petal. And it's a lot easier if you just take them all at one time and make the slits. Then I'm going to take some of my ink, some of my distressing ink, and distress the edges. Okay, so now, since this is the pattern that I want to show, I'm gonna, for my bud, that's gonna be facing down, and I'm just gonna cuff all these petals up. Okay, and then we can just bring them together to form my bud. So there's my nicely tight bud. Use my tweezers to kind of fold some of the petals outward. And then let me go ahead and put some adhesive. Okay, put some adhesive to kind of close my bud and let it set. Now I'm going to use my tweezers to kind of pretend that the flower is opening. So there you have that. Put a little bit here. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to set that aside. So for this, remember, I'm just going to pinch the edges. Pinching all the edges. Do the same thing in here. Pinching all the edges. And then here, pinching all the edges. And I usually make a ton of these while I'm watching Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. I got my laptop and I watch videos while I'm making a bunch of these flowers. Now I'm just going to take my my embossing tool and just going to pound the middle just to bring to cuff it up a little bit. Okay. So now I'm ready to place my bud in the center. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. Make sure I place it in the center. Let it dry just a little bit, or let it set for just a little bit. And then I'm going to bring my petals up, putting a little more glue around my bud, and then bringing those petals up. See, like here, I'll put some adhesive there, just a little bit, and then bring those petals up and then hold it until it sets. Okay. So now you have like this tiny little bud. Now I'm ready to place my second, this is actually my third flower. Make sure that I kind of offset it a little bit. And then push it up. If you want, you can put a little more adhesive and then push it up. So there. See? And you can even just put 3 flowers. So see how cute that will look in the layout? You can put 1, and this is a smaller flower. But actually, this one's going to have 4 petals. And there. So there's the one with the pattern paper up. This is the one with the purple paper. And see how nice it will look nicely together on a layout? If you make a bunch of these and just one with the pattern paper up and one with the pattern paper down, and it'll look real cute. And then after I make a bunch of these, I just put them in a little baggie and save them for later on in the future. So, before I finish, another thing you can do is you can use some glitter glue. I like to use glitter nail polish because the nail polish has a little bit of lacquer, plus it has the glitter, and I just like it better. Let me show you using some nail polish. And I just put a little bit on the edges, just to give it that kind of extra brilliance. Just to give it that extra sparkle. And see, look at that. That looks very cute. And you can even use, so I'm using right now, this is a shooting star. It has a lot of different colors in there. But you can buy a bunch of those nail polish, different kinds. And like I have this blue one that I sometimes use, and I got this gold one. And I do have a silver one, which I don't know where I have it right now. My daughter tends to use some of my nail polish for her nails. So I did have a silver one somewhere. But that's what I usually do. And then another trick is I get these nail paint from the dollar store. And you can create kind of full candy dots with this. Let me show you how it looks, because I was playing with this. You take it and you just put it straight down, let it drop like that. When it dries shiny, and it dries just like one of those candy dots. And you can make it all sizes. So that one is smaller, but a small drop. But if you want a big one, you just basically just put a bigger glob of nail polish. Like that. And you can buy them of all colors. Yellow, red, any color. See how that one, it's a little bigger? And just let it dry, and it looks just like a candy dot. Just make sure, because it is nail polish, you don't really want to put it close to your pictures, but for cards or anything like that, or everyday album, that's a good little trick that you can use. Is that if you don't have some of those candy dots handy or available where you live. So this is it. So I hope you like this tutorial. And here's my other one. So these are some of the flowers I've been creating. So I hope you like this tutorial, and thank you for watching. Bye now.